Spoony.
Nice one, Jay.
Bruv, man are telling me you're a train spotter and that's where your name come from.
What? Don't read Wikipedia, man. I don't know. I mean, I read that on Wikipedia. It made me laugh. You just got to take these things with a pinch of salt. It's nothing to do with train spotting.
No? So where did it come from?
I told you this. I was saying, I was like, nah, I'm not buying that at all.
No. It's actually, I've been called it since I was about 6 years old. Primary school, they said that I looked like one of the boys in the junior school. They called him Spoony. They used to call me Little Spoony. And they called him Spoony because they said his head was shaped like a spoon. And then when he left and I went up into the junior school, the people that were calling me Little Spoony would all left. And then the little was dropped and Spoony stuck. And then I started DJing. And at the time, you wouldn't just call your DJ name your normal name. You had a tag. So that was mine. And I guess I got the last laugh in it.
So what? Explain to me. Like, how do you get into DJing and stuff? I mean, obviously music was always a part of my culture when I was coming up, so I'm guessing it was the same. But yeah, tell me how that began for you, man.
I mean, it's a massive. You're right. It's the same, Jay. It's a massive part of my culture. Growing up, having house parties and going to house parties, and christenings were like parties. Everything was like party. And then I suppose we got to an age where having or being in a sound system was like the modern day like gang. Where you just would sort of pool your resources and you'd buy speakers and amps and put your records together, and that's really where it started. And went to a local youth club and saw a friend of mine, Steve, DJing at a local youth club on an old DJing console, what would have been like the original, what they'd call now controller, where everything's built into one unit, 2 decks and a mixer. And heard him playing one record, which I knew, heard him playing another record, and then I was like, but I didn't hear the gap. There was no start. I was like, what is that? So then I started watching a little bit closer, and I realised that in between he was doing something. I was like, right, I need. That's like magic. I need to learn how to do that.
How old were you at the time?
15.
15.
So he came over to my house, and I'll never forget the day. It was a Tuesday evening, and I said to my mum, Steve's going to come over. He's going to show me this DJing thing, but we need a table. Could we do it in the kitchen? And we had one of those pine tables with the pine benches in there. And my mum said, he can come over, but as long as you clean the kitchen, wash the dishes before he comes. But
that was strict
in black families, washing the dishes isn't like washing the dishes. It's polishing the kettle,
everything,
wiping down the sides, making sure the fridge is clean. The place was spotless. And Steve came over, showed me how to mix, and from that moment, I was just like hooked. But yeah, and then, it goes from there. It was like my hobby. At the time, I was playing a lot of football, played football to an okay standard, which I shouldn't really say in the company that we're in. But I loved playing football and the social aspect of it as well. And then the two were just kind of going away from
What music was it first, though?
I was playing like really across the board, It was soul, it was funk, it was early days of, there was some rap in there, and then the fusion between rap and house music, hip house. Then I was very much into my house music.
Were you always into music then? So you say you did that at 15. What about before that? Was you always kind of into music and you had a passion for it before? Yeah,
I mean, in school I played a musical instrument, so I really understood how
What
music
instrument,
was.
man?
Trombone.
Really?
Yeah, so I understood. I mean, I wasn't good at it.
Like football?
I was better at football than I was at the trombone, but I just enjoyed playing and just enjoyed playing music. And really what that did was set me up for understanding the composition of music and how it's broken down, and actually mixing and counting into your bars and your phrases and stuff like that. So I loved and enjoyed music. I'd started to collect music and was reading the sleeve notes, and quite a diverse.
Your record collection must be different.
Must be heavy. That
it's
I see your house. You posted something. I see that look wicked.
Yeah,
that look wicked.
Yeah, it's a passion of mine, and it's funny because it goes beyond just the music. This is something that
it's you, isn't it?
Really, it's like I can't imagine myself without music. Can't imagine a world without music. I often, people say, could you imagine not having music or not watching the TV? And I say, other than watching sport, if I could watch sport and have no TV, I'd be fine.
So for me, when I was coming up, like, I mean, we're a bit older than him, but like for me, it was
By the
like
way,
hip hop
I've got to
first.
stop you and say, you look fantastic.
So do you, actually. So do you.
Oh, not me. No. Not me.
Don't worry about it. You're young. You're young.
We'll get you in 10 or 15 years.
No, because when I was coming up, I first started, like, I remember my first tape was Death Certificate, Ice Cube.
Okay.
And I was like, I remember I found it on the bus. So I was like, I took it home and I put it on and I was like, right, that's the first time I heard like the swearing and racism and all this kind of stuff. So I was like, man, but I like this. I like the beat. And I remember my mum, like, obviously I'm mixed race. I'm playing it and like, there was one track on it. I think it's called like, sorry people, but it's called like White Gay Bitch. Like that. And I remember I was playing it and my mum come upstairs, but she was like, what's this shit? Blah, blah, blah. But then obviously I've always liked hip hop, but then House and Garage came around. And that's where like what you were saying about, you know, like your areas and stuff. And what's it called? What was the garage station called?
Freak
FM. Yeah.
There were two in North London.
There was Y2K or something like that as well. And I remember like people, like there was a guy that I grew up with and he would go to like the houses and stuff like that and, you know, the pirate radio stations. But then that's when I felt like the holidays started becoming a popular thing and going to like Camden Palace, Temple, Colosseum, like all these places. And I remember seeing you there and I remember like at the time there was proper celebrities at these things like Beckham and people like that. And I'm like, this ain't right. Like I didn't ever thought I'd see David Beckham at a garage rave. And he was there and it was like...
I mean, that period of... So we, at the time when like Freak were massive, so you had two stations in North London that were big. You had Freak FM, which kind of was more, so how can I say, Finsbury Park, Holloway, Archway, way. And then you had London Underground, which was kind of like the other half of North London. So I was on London Underground. I know a load of the guys that were on Freak as well. And then a little bit later on, like you're saying, Colosseum, I used to do Twice as Nice resident there, and then it moved to the end.
Twice as Nice was the one.
But the point about the celebrities in the garage raves, when I sort of like look back at music history in New York especially, and I talk about Studio 54, and you see the people that used to go there.
Yeah.
So it's that underground mix of what's happening on the street before people really know about it. And that's where people want to go.
Yeah,
so
exactly,
you look back at old pictures and you see, you know, Grace Jones and Mick Jagger and Michael Jackson and Prince and these guys.
David Bowie.
Bowie at Studio 54. And our version of that was, you know, we'd have, when they came into the country, I mean, Wesley Snipes and, like you said, the Beckhams and the Spice Girls. And
that was crazy.
They would just be in there because they would say to their people, what's the spot? And they'd go, that's the place. Yeah. And then they want to go.
Exactly.
It's different then to now, isn't it? Like going, like you said there, seeing these people in some of the places you was is like, now it just doesn't happen, does it?
I said to him, I mean, he's kind of in this area. I mean, I got a 21-year-old and I was like saying like, the way going raving was back then, it was like everyone was happy. People just wanted to dance and have a good time. It wasn't pretentious. It was just like about just enjoying that moment. And that's what resonated with me. Like, that's what, I mean, even now I'm thinking about, I've got goose pimples because them days, like, you won't be able to recreate them again. And
how lucky we are to sit here and say that we experienced it. And there was a bit of envy when you hear people talk about, you know, I speak to some of my friends with American DJs and they would talk about Paradise Garage and they would hear about people who were talking about before that Studio 54. And when you're a little bit younger, there's like a bit of envy in there. But then we had our own version of that for certain. People going out, no cameras, no phones, just raving.
That was it. And even like when I first started going out, when you asked for a girl's number back in the day, man, you didn't have no phone, you know. It was like, I'll go to the bar, can I borrow a pen? Write it down.
And then with all the dancing, you have to ensure that it doesn't get sweating in your pocket because you don't know if you'd see them again.
And Spoony, do you know what the thing was as well? Back in the day as well, it was like, I don't know about you, I couldn't give up my house number. So I had to give them the number for the telephone box at the corner. I'd be like, call me at 1, yeah, 1. Call me at 1, I'll be there.
That was the time.
The hassle, boy, the hassle, but the hustle. But it was, you know, that was life. That was genuinely our life, and we loved it. I would not change, you know, I wouldn't change a second.
I'm the same, yeah. I think I'm blessed, and that we came from that era.
What was it like then, obviously growing up in Hackney, is that right?
Yeah.
And then getting involved in music and DJing, when did you actually feel like this could be a career and a job?
So I left school at 18. I was, you know, still DJing, still collecting my music. And I decided, you know, it was just my mum and me and my 3 brothers, so 4 of us in the house at that stage, that I needed to go to work. I considered going to university, but, you know, like the burden financially and earning money and being independent, I really wanted to be independent. So got a job, worked for the Employment Service, civil servant for 7 years in the job centre. And it got to 1995, and I went on a boys' holiday. And on the holiday, I decided that I was gonna have to try and give this DJ thing a bit of a crack. But I knew that whilst I was working in the job centre, it would have been very difficult because the constraints of being in the office and 9 to 5, it was quite rigid. So I got a job working for a company that fixed Apple Mac computers, small company where I would have had a little bit more leeway to flex and bubble. And then I was working towards, you know, doing the DJing full time. Anyway, a year later, I was still on pirate radio. The booking started to...
So did you get paid for doing pirate radio, or was it just exposure?
No, that was like
just
making your name.
Okay.
Yeah. That's when you made your name to
when you
begin
get a
with.
mainstream,
Yeah.
that's when you get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get paid at all, but it was on London Underground where we met Timmy Magic and Mikey B. We formed a dream team, and then
I'm getting gassed about that. I'm thinking about that now.
and then within a year, it was really mad because I'd looked at what I was earning 9 to 5, then on a sort of a decent weekend DJing, and I was like, wow, like I've earned on that one weekend what I'd earn in a month, and I've only really DJed for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Can I just say one thing before you carry on? Man like me, yeah, we used to get the tickets, right? And you see the posters up like stuck on the wall. If I see Dream Team,
you're getting gassed.
I'm going to get my ticket. You're there. I'm going to get my tickets. And then I'll be looking like, what time are they coming on? So like, sometimes they'll be on at like 1 in the morning. I'll be like, all right, I got to get there at about 11, and then I'm good for it. But boy, Dream Team.
Thank you, man. Yeah, great memories. And like I said, I was looking at what was happening in my own personal diary, and then working so closely with Timmy and Mikey, I was like, right, something's happening there. So I went to my boss and said, look, I love the job, but this DJing thing's starting to bubble. Is there any chance that I can go to a 4-day week? So I would have Mondays off, and then I'd have a long weekend. And he was like, fine. We'd done a deal with my wages, so I was like, brilliant. So I still had the security of that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know how it was going to work out. You know, I had 3 months worth of bookings that could, you know, go in a moment. So I was like, right, I need to take my time anyway. So done that for 3 months, and it was like the money went up and the bookings went up. So I was like,
you ditched the job.
Right. So I went back to my boss and I went,
can I do 1 day now?
I was like, look, can I go to 3 days? So I want to have Fridays and Mondays off. I'll be in the office on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If I have meetings, because I was sales, so I said, if I have meetings that they won't do other than on a Monday and a Friday, I'll come in. So he's like, all right, fine. So I went to 3 days. Same thing happened again. So about 2 months later, I went in and I said, look, I need to just go and try this. Even if it lasts a year to him, I said, look, if it lasts a year and I can say, I gave it a good crack for a year, it worked out, it didn't work out. He said, look, if it doesn't work out, come back, there'll be a job here for you.
I feel like all people that are generally successful will have a little bit of something like you've done there. You've ditched something that was safe and secure and give something a go. Yeah. It's like that sink or swim, like you've got to almost step out your comfort zone. And I suppose that's what it was for you.
Yeah.
Wasn't uncomfortable, but you was giving something a go.
Yeah, you have to. And I guess, you know, if I look for as I do quite often in my life, like a metaphor with golf, it's that risk reward of picking the right time to be aggressive and knowing when a par is a good score. Do you know what I mean? But sometimes even a bogey is a good score.
Yeah, sometimes you've got to take your medicine.
You just got to work it. So when I looked at it at the time, I was like, right, I need to make a calculated risk and move here. And that was 1997, and then that year lasted. Let's put it.
So how did you get into golf?
So I mean, I kind of fell into it in a sense of it was around 2000, and the DJing started. It was ballistic now, and we had a national radio show Sunday mornings, and I couldn't commit to training the football once, twice a week, and then a game on a Saturday, because on a Friday night I might have been in Leeds until 4 or 5 o'clock, and then have to drive back down, have a couple of hours sleep, and then go and play football. It just wasn't conducive to good performances. And like I said, we played to a decent standard. So I said, right, I can't play whilst I'm DJing like this. And I just needed something new, competitive, sporty. And I went on holiday to the Bahamas. They had this brilliant, crazy golf course. And I just was like, right, I'm going to try this. And I came back and spoke to my friend, and he went, I used to play golf for my county. I'll take you to the driving range.
Okay.
So he took me to the driving range. It's not even there anymore now. It's where, in King's Cross, where Cold Drop Yard.
That's where you're on about.
That's my story.
That's
the first time I see a range.
That's the first place I hit a golf ball.
I said, what's that big net there?
Yeah.
And he was like, that's where the professional golfers practice. I was like, that's it. Yeah. And he was like, yeah. But I could see it from Market Road.
That's right. I used to play at
Market Road, yeah.
So that's the first place you hit the golf ball.
Yeah.
Mad.
That's crazy.
And all the taxi drivers used to go there because it was right near the train station, and there'd always be like black cabs outside.
So you would do Bagleys and then go there?
No, I was after that. But yeah, and that was the first place that I went and hit a golf ball, and then I started having lessons with a guy called Steve Gould at Knightsbridge Golf School.
Okay.
So it's like an indoor facility. Like it used to be indoor squash courts, and he converted it into no golf simulator, just a net.
Let me just go back. So 2000, you hit your
back
ball
2000,
for the first
2001.
time.
That was.
And then was you grip from there, or was it just a slow? Really, you was grip.
When did you first
play
play a course then?
That would have been. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't have been a year later, but so I signed up to have these lessons with in Knightsbridge Golf School. And I had a lesson every day for a month, a 40-minute lesson every day for the whole month.
I've never even heard of anybody doing that.
I did that because my theory was learning something new, that I would retain more of the previous lesson if I didn't leave it a long time to have the next lesson. So
I like that. Actually.
So by the end of the week, I was able to clearly remember what I learned on the Monday. That was my theory anyway. But anyone who plays golf, it doesn't always. So I did that for a month, and then I don't know. I think I went and played. There's like a little public course called Hobbs Cross.
There's a pitch and putt somewhere up there. I was looking yesterday when we was at Tottenham.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a pitch and putt somewhere up there.
Okay.
I was seeing. But yeah, that's mad how you.
So I went and done that, and then that was it. And then Knightsbridge Golf School, once a month, they used to go to Stoke Park. And he used to take his students out there and hit balls on the range. So I'd never hit balls up until outside. So this was like a new thing for me. Yeah. I had a big tour bag. I don't know why I had a tour bag.
Look the part. Look the part. If you look the part, you feel the part.
Brand?
2,000 Donne balls in there, lugging my way to the.
By the way, Stoke Park is where they filmed James Bond, right?
They filmed loads there.
Layer Cake.
They filmed, Layer Cake, Bridget Jones's Diary.
Oh, yeah.
I think they did Goldfinger, and I think Tomorrow
Never Dies.
Tomorrow Never Dies, with Timothy Dalton.
They definitely did Goldfinger.
Yeah, Goldfinger.
Yeah, that's the famous one. Yeah.
Odd Job outside the clubhouse, and when he finds the ball on the 17th.
You don't know about that.
I don't know.
We just have a chat about it.
I know about that.
I know. I've heard of them films, Layer Cakes and stuff like this, but I don't know. I haven't watched them.
Daniel Craig, great.
I know James Bond.
You'll like that movie actually.
It's a great
Layer Cake.
Yeah, you like that.
Yeah,
I have to watch that. And then we'll come back and we'll do it again.
So and that was me hooked. I joined Stoke Park. I had so many sort of great years as a member there. Beautiful golf course.
Amazing golf course.
I was really lucky because working on the weekend, I had always had my daytimes free.
That's what I'm like now.
So I'd work on the
perfect.
weekends and in the evenings, and like Monday to Friday, I was virtually do whatever I like. And that's when the pros and the lower handicappers were at the golf court. So I was always playing with people that were pros and of scratch. Van Phillips, who'd won on tour, Jeremy and Ollie Kavanagh, Tillers. These guys were all scratch, or Van was a pro, and I'd be like.
So you must have got better quickly.
Dave Fisher's like an double English amateur.
So you was getting better quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you was playing with
all the time.
better players.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like, because obviously in golf, you know, there's a bit of racism stigma attached to golf. Did you ever experience that back then? Because that you was, I mean, back then.
Yeah, no, it's funny really, because we had some amazing young members, like these guys that I just mentioned were much younger and they were into their music. And because of I suppose the notoriety about being a DJ, I wasn't in their eyes like just a black guy rolling off the street. So there are some privileges that I most probably would have been afforded that someone else might not have. But not so much racism, but when I used to go on a gig, myself and Winnie, who was like my tour manager at the time, we'd have our golf clubs wherever we were.
Everywhere.
The clubs would be in the car. So
that's what thing is like.
Whether I was DJing,
Locksmith's like that.
Lockheed's
Lockheed's like.
So whether I was DJing in Cornwall or Bradford or Bristol,
golf
clubs would be in the back of the car, and we'd always find
looking at where's the course or where's the range.
But some of them courses, you know, they don't have that many black people.
That's the thing, like, because I was saying, like, certainly when I got into it, and you know, I've been privileged to play at some nice clubs. It's not even so much like the race, like someone being racist to me. It's more like just the look sometimes, and the look bothers me more than you being racist to me. Like, you know, like kind of, what are you doing there?
I kind of just got
that way. That kind of bothered me a little bit.
I kind of got into the mindset that it's your problem, it's not my problem. Like I'm not even gonna let that faze me, because I thought if those kind of things would faze me, I wouldn't be doing and trying to do the things that I do in my life generally. So I'm aware of it, and don't get me wrong, if it goes beyond the look, I'll deal with it. Yeah. But if you're gonna turn your nose up, then that's more for you. Do you know what I mean? I've got as much right and reason to be here as you, and I'm just gonna let you have that one for free, and I just go and play my golf. Do you know what I mean?
And it's important, isn't it? Like we were speaking to Nada about that, actually having people who look like us in the sport. Yeah. Because it makes a huge difference to kids seeing
that's why I started
people
playing
on TV and whatever it is. Like, why did you start playing?
I mean, the other reason I started playing was because of Tiger Woods.
Right?
Yeah. So,
that's the reason why a lot of us started playing.
And that's it. You know, you look, and you know, don't get me wrong. I was aware of, you know, in the 80s, I was aware of Nick Faldo winning his 6 majors because he was British, and it seemed at the time that whenever it was only the Americans that were dominating. So I was aware of it, but seeing a black guy or someone of mixed heritage, of dark skin playing the game, I was like, okay, yeah, and not only is he playing, he's like the best ever to do it. Yeah. So yeah, he definitely inspired me.
You done charitable golf events and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I've done loads. I used to run my own one for years. You know, combining my two loves, golf and music. The Spoony Classic at Stoke Park. Yeah. I mean, I've played in loads, but I organised and had my own for years. Man. And they were fantastic. I had so much support from like a lot of the European tour players. I'd have 10, 12 tour players play.
You DJ'd at Poulter's wedding, right?
Yeah.
That was great.
What was that? Like? Was that Ollie Fisher's wedding as well?
Did you?
Yeah. And I've met.
I'm renewing my vows soon, innit?
Yeah. Okay, I'll give my agent's number. But no, we just love it, and it's funny that, you know, when I started DJing and sort of making a name for yourself, I realised for all the footballers want to be in music, and all the music people want to be professional athletes. And it's the same, like all load of the golfers.
But that's what makes the connection, isn't it?
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful, and the respect is there, because now, even though I didn't play sport at a professional level, I understand what it takes, not just one season, every season. And the older you get, the harder it gets. In many ways, because your body's starting to sort of break down and realizing like that this is hard work. And like I said, you know that when someone has that amount of stripes on their sleeves, irrespective to whether they've won FA Cups or league titles or Champions League titles, the fact that they've been a professional athlete for 10, 12 years is a phenomenal achievement in anyone's language, you know. So, and I guess that the respect is mutual, because I go, bro, you know, you just started out with, you know, nothing, and you're doing that. So yeah, the bond is there, and I'm still very, very close to Ian, to Pulse, and I spoke to Ollie Fisher this morning. He's another very, very good friend of mine. So yeah, I'm in and around it.
How was it to play with like Pulse? Because Pulse, my first memory of Pulse was like, you know, the Larry trousers, the different kind of haircuts, like the mane, the blonde, and all that.
When I was young, I used to want spiky hair, and I used to be pissed when my hair was
I think like as much as like, you know, he came onto my radar because of that.
Yeah.
You know, as much as he was a top golfer, I mean, still is, but like, what was it like to play golf with him the first time? A character.
I mean, the thing was, golf needed disrupting, and I guess in cycles, Tiger disrupted and challenged the status quo. Ian Poulter did in a different way, but it needed it, because if you don't have people like that, it will be hard for people like us to go in and feel comfortable being on the golf course. I guess you had that like a odd glare or a look. Yeah. It most probably have been even worse if you don't have people disrupting what's going on. Yeah. But you know, I think the first time I spoke to Pulse was at the Dunhill Links, and you know, he'd been
Dunhill Links,
played 14 times.
Yeah, I know, that's crazy.
He'd been listening to the radio. I've been into my golf. I knew who he was. Oh my God, it's Spoony. And then we just, you know, exchanged numbers, and then let's play a practice round, and what time you're teeing off, and then the friendship just really grew from there, and that was it. You know, I'd speak to Lee Westwood every now and again as well. Yeah. But even though these guys are, you know, in their late 40s, 50s, it's just 20, 25 years that I've known them now.
So you knew them from like when they were kids as well, like?
Yeah, I think when I met Ian, he had maybe, I think he'd won the Italian Open. I think he'd had one win on tour at that stage. This is pre-Ryder Cup for him.
Yeah.
So, you know, his reputation, other than his wins and his image, the Ryder Cup really cemented him as a force.
Yeah, I mean that's what he's, I don't want to say known for, but like when you look back at the older Ryder Cups, you always see him there at the forefront.
Yeah, charging.
Like he's the one that made that atmosphere, that energy, and to be honest, he paved the way for. You know, you see that energy now, but if it wasn't for someone like him showing that kind of, I don't want to say footballer energy, but that's the way it came across, that the passion for golf. You didn't really see that before until he started showing it, and now, you know, it's kind of evolved and you see other people doing it as well.
I mean, he's a top guy, other than the fact that he supports Arsenal. He's a lovely guy. But
Hold on. Who are you supporting?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm a Liverpool fan. Everyone knows that. We'll come back to that. But with Pulse and the Ryder Cup, I think that, you know, Seve Ballesteros, especially in Europe, was a man that he lived and loved. He loved the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
And I think Ian Poulter took the baton in that way, if we can, and really just elevated the attention around it, his own reputation. Because remember, week in, week out, these guys are going out and playing for themselves solely, and what he did with his passion and desire was, you know, unify a continent, and beautifully so. So
that's true.
Yeah, you know, fair play to him, and I think he gained a lot of respect from his fellow pros for how he galvanised the team. So yeah, but he's a top guy. He's, you know, we have great laughs. And
I look at him and I say he's like a lad. He loves his cars. He's extravagant with it. You know,
he's doing well
living
for
his dream.
Exactly,
he's
and that's
inspirational in the fact of how he started, like turning pro 4 and just proving people wrong. Like that's such a good story, and it's inspirational.
Four, and that's one of the beautiful things about golf. And I say this as a lover of football. It's where golf promotes meritocracy. Other than the amateurs, where if your face doesn't fit, or if he had like a spiky haircut, they might not pick him to represent England, right? But once you turn pro, if you hit fairways and you put the ball in the hole in less shots than anyone else, you win the tournament. It takes opinions out of it in the way that football, You could be a good player, a great player. The manager doesn't like you. He's not picking you.
It's true.
So even though you are good and you should be doing better, like we can most probably sit here and go around and go, who should have had a better career? And you go, boom, 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 boom. All people that fell out of a manager, fell out of an agent, whatever, right? And it happens. Whereas in golf, no one doesn't have to like you. You get on there, hit a fairway, hit it close, hole it, tournament's mine. It's true, Thanks for coming.
It is true. I'd say that's really important. And we always talk about this, about getting paid up front as well. Yeah. So like live and all these things now, like having some funds behind you to be able to actually go out and do it, because there's so many talented people that just haven't got the funds to be able to go out and make a career out of it.
Yeah. I know loads I know loads. I've met loads on the way that, you know, they're very talented, but they have to work. So they can't spend all day at the golf course.
So what do you think? So you think that live is a good thing for golf then? That the fact that they're paying people up front and giving the money?
It's their business model. If their business model is working for them, I think that anytime a status quo is challenged, and that's coming from someone who's been a disruptor and been on the outside and I think it's good, because if you don't have people making waves, the chances are people like us wouldn't naturally get a look in. It just wouldn't happen, especially in a sport like golf. Football's slightly different, because if you look historically, or at least over the last 35, 40 years, you know, working class people will get through. Yeah. But in golf, it doesn't necessarily.
Because the equipment, it's an expensive sport, let's be honest.
It can be.
But as well, like, for me, it's more like, when I was coming up as a football player, because you get paid straight away, pretty much. Like, you get youth, at this time it was called YTS, yeah. So like, I was only doing £47
That's youth training scheme.
Yeah, youth training scheme.
For any young people, youth training scheme.
But at the time, it was only £47 a week. But that £47 a week put money in my pocket, right? Which means all I need to think about is playing football. I think with golf, especially at a younger age, you're behind before you hit a ball, which puts you under pressure. And I think if you can't deal with that pressure at a young age, you end up losing out on your dreams. I mean, you said it yourself. It's difficult. Like, I've been around people and they say, you know, I gave up because of financial issues I had. And I think if golf helped these young golfers get to tournaments, just like their expenses, I think more people will be more successful from it.
Yeah, it's finding how and where that works. Do you get someone an ex-player that's got loads of money, can they set up an academy where they'll go and cherry pick the best golfers? Because if you look at, I mean, and you make a really good point, because if you look back at the career, say for Justin Rose and Tiger Woods, for instance, right? So Justin was highly regarded, signed his pro terms, missed 20 cuts, early, didn't he? 20 plus cuts when he started. But he was never under pressure that he wasn't gonna make it, because he already had the funding. And when I look at Tiger putt from 5 or 6 foot, he was never ever thinking, if this doesn't go in, I've got to go to work on Monday. And the difference between putting, and don't get me wrong, I'm maybe taking it away from what a phenomenal player said, but when you putt like it doesn't matter, it normally goes in. When you putt with any bit of fair, is it gonna break that much? But if it doesn't go in, all of these things, these micro details in golf make all of the difference.
That's what I said. See,
and it's very true. And like I said, the difference between, I know, you know, people that have been playing thinking, if I don't hit this fairway, if I don't make a birdie, I need to stop playing. You can't play golf.
Or you can't pay your rent or whatever.
And this is what I'm saying.
Can't play golf.
And that's what I'm saying, especially at a young age. You know, when you're older, you're more mature. You understand how to deal with things a little bit better. But even then, some adults have trouble dealing with it. I think at that age, when you're young, it's so hard. Like if you know, my mum was a cleaner. My dad worked for BT. You know, for me, it was like I had 2 pairs of shoes. I had 1 pair of shoes for school, and I had
kickers.
I had kickers, and do you remember Nicks?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I had kickers and Nicks, and they had to last me like all year. And then I was wearing my dad's football boots to play football in. That was like 3 sizes too small for me. I ended up growing into them, but we didn't have no money to do anything. So when I look at golf, it's like, if you really want to take golf seriously, you need backing, or you need, you know, your parents have to be like from a middle class background. For me personally, even if I loved golf back then, I couldn't have made it as a golfer.
And it's just having that money, like you say. It's not a... depending on the level that you want to get to, it's not... And it traditionally wasn't a working man's sport. I think things are a little bit... They're changing slowly because there are ways, and I think one of the problems with it is that people have realised that it was too much of a working class sport. And there are ways now where I said that people can get maybe a little bit help and funding, or you can do it slightly on a budget, or they reduce green fees, or they'll help people out who are displaying exceptional talent. They'll waive the green fee and stuff like that, which I've heard and I know that is going on. But definitely to start out, you need... That's why we've got to really give even more respect to someone like Ian Poulter, who, you know, I know Poulter's mum and dad, and even though his mum and dad were very much around in his life, they're not by any stretch of the means
wealthy,
middle class or wealthy people. But I guess that he worked hard. His older brother played golf as well, so the path was a little bit...
That's important as well, because you have that bit of competition.
Yeah. That's why it's important for us to do these things and put on a show and have some fun and stuff, just to show people that there is access into golf like we did yesterday. We was at a school yesterday introducing golf to some kids there. Brilliant. So some of them golfers, we said at the start, there's probably 30, 40 kids in there. How many played golf? And just one girl had put her hand up
when I was on holiday.
Out of all of them.
That was it. And it was like, and you know, from us being like from the concrete jungle, you don't even see a golf course. You don't even know where one is.
So I lived in Hackney, and then I went to school in Islington, and I think
Highbury Grove.
I went to Highbury Grove, and I think Highgate is the closest, but I don't even think that technically... Some of it might be in the borough of Islington, but Hackney as a London borough doesn't have a golf course. They have a facility at Lee Valley, which is like a little pitch and putt. It's not a golf course, driving range, and I've been there and spoken to young people about doing a similar thing. But again, when you grow up in a metropolis like that, it's like I can't think of anyone in my primary school or my secondary school which had 1,500 boys that played golf. There was maybe one, Ursula Trufik, I think, was the only person that I know that had hit golf, and I was a sporty person.
That was the same as me, even up north. Like, I was the only kid that played golf. And it was always that thing that it's like, oh, you play golf? What the hell?
How did you get into it?
The hell's that? My gran actually got me a plastic clubs for, I don't know if it was a birthday or something. And then we went up to the field where people used to kick ball and stuff, and hit them across there. And then I was pretty good at it. And then she was like, oh yeah, I'm going to take you to the council course called Horsehay. So we went there, had some group lessons. And then after that, the pro at that council course got the job at a private course up the road called Wrekin, and he brought us all over there and reduced the fee for us to go there.
There you go.
So it was
reducing fees. It's because it makes it a little bit more accessible. But then sometimes, you know, the fees that the clubs charge, I don't think they have to charge that. They charge that to keep the riffraff out.
I think so.
Okay, so the question that I mean, we always tend to ask people, especially people like, you know, someone like you, Spoony, like that is successful, that's come from, you know, North London, you grew up in humble surroundings. What advice would you give someone that grew up in the same kind of circumstances as yourself, as me, as Trey, if they love golf?
You know what, I think it's a beautiful sport. It's a lifetime sport. You're going to have it. You know, as long as we can walk and turn, we're going to be playing golf. I can't imagine a time in my life, as long as I'm alive, that I won't play golf. It just depends on the level that you want to go to. I've seen and been to some beautiful places around the world because of golf. Take it up, and, you know, if budgets and funds are limited, you'll, you know, drink a little bit less or smoke a little bit less, or, you know, you think the amount of time you spend on the golf course, it's actually, it can be good value for money if you have the time. But yeah, I'd advise anybody to start playing. I tried to get both of my daughters playing golf. I've taken my stepson to the driving range because I just think it's an amazing life skill.
I'll tell you what, for me, and I said this to Trey, like, I had a lot of anger problems when I was younger. I mean,
I remember.
When you put me on Front Street like that,
Called you out.
and then, to be honest, golf helped me. Do you know, like just going walking for like 4 hours out in the the open and taking in that fresh air, doing something that's really hard, having to concentrate about every single shot, the elements that you're playing in, like everything. It just kind of calmed me down and made me more peaceful.
It's really, I have this kind of, and I'm not a therapist of any stretch of the imagination, right? And I totally understand how, deep lying or like traumatic experiences from the past can affect us. But I think there comes a point in our life where when we start taking responsibility for what happens in our life from there on in, we start behaving a different way. And I think having anger at people and stuff is a way of not taking sometimes responsibility ourselves. Now, I'm saying that not as kids because they don't understand that. But the reason I say that is the beautiful thing about golf, more than any other sport, is that it's all about you. You can't blame anything on anyone else. If you're angry, it's you. If you hit a good shot, it's you. If
you're angry, it gets worse.
Right. And then you realise that being angry is not going to help.
Not going to help. Yeah.
So you then go, right, I hit a bad shot. I didn't miss because the pitch bobbled, or you passed it too fast, or you didn't hit it on the safe side, or why are you giving me a bouncing ball on my right foot? Right, all of these things where they didn't pass to me, that was not offside. You played pre-VAR. Not that makes a difference because they get it wrong now anyway. But all of these different things that you can blame it on people. Whereas you get on the golf course,
Can't blame no one.
the putt missed because I pulled it, I pushed it, I didn't read enough brake on it, I hit it too hard.
Life skills, isn't it?
And there's so many analogies that you can take and metaphors you can take off of the golf course and apply it to your life and go, wow. And that's most probably why it started tuning you out, because you then start taking responsibility for what goes on in your life. Because listen, the truth is we are effectively, whether we admit it or not, we're like the sum total of all of our decisions and choices. That is us. So the more, the better decisions and choices you make, the easier your life's gonna be. It's kind of like just that simple.
It's that simple.
That's simple, but it's really hard to still.
We're going to use some of that now because, Spoony, in our podcast, we have a challenge that every guest is going to do. It's the longest drive challenge this season. So you're the second guest to come on this season.
No.
And I'm not going to tell you the number that the first guest this season has popped in there.
He's a strong guy.
But yeah, you up for it? Yeah.
I'm gonna have to.
Ready
I mean, hold on. Can we just ask? Let me just ask one question because they might come in it. What's the best golf course and the most famous person you played golf with?
See, I this is gonna sound really like okay. I mean, my favourite golf course is Kingsbarns, and I've played that like in the Dunhill Links. I think the most famous person that I've played with would have to be Rory. I think.
Where at?
We played at the Els Club in Dubai. Yeah.
Bloody hell.
What I mean, really, again, I've known him before he turned pro.
Yeah.
And we was out in Dubai at an event and sat on the same table and we was just talking.
Yeah.
You know, what are we doing tomorrow? Yeah, I'm just going to be practicing. I said, come over and we'll hit some balls and play. And I was like,
okay.
okay. And then later on in the evening, he said, he was going and he came and said, look, I'm there from about 1 tomorrow. I'll come over about 1, we'll hit balls for an hour and then we'll go and play. And I was like, he meant that. and that's it. We went and we played, hit balls for, and then we went and played 9 holes. But, you know, I've played loads of times with Ian Poulter and Lee Westwood and Darren Clark. And in golfing terms, well, maybe not so much because Rory's done what he did, but I made the cut 1 year and played. I was the only amateur in the group. My partner was Marcel Seam. Played with Rich Beam, who was a major winner, and Retief Goosen.
Okay.
So, and I was the only amateur.
That's in good company.
Yeah. But again, I played played a practice round once. This was at the time. This was my favourite because I played with Ian Poulter, Justin Rose, and Nick Faldo at Kingsbarns.
Wow.
So I've been
some
quite
pedigree of
That is
golfers.
proper.
That is.
I'm expecting a lot on this long drive.
Yeah,
mate.
I'm expecting big balls now.
That don't mean I'm going to hit it far. Don't even mean I'm going to hit it.
Let's do it. Right then, season 2 longest drive competition is back. Spoony's going to take to the test. He's had a couple of warm-ups. We won't.
Getting
we
that
shouldn't
body
have told
moving.
people that. He's had a couple of warm-ups.
He's collecting his pension soon, innit? So
That's
we
it.
thought we'd give him a little warm up.
That's it. When you get to this age, you need a warm up. Is there going to be like a little handicap system for my age?
What, you 50 yards?
No, you go to the gym every
Yeah,
day. You
50
told
yards.
me.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 shots, then we'll take the longest one.
Let's sit in here.
It's tight this way. Oh, you've got a swing, you know, Jay.
I know.
It's got a swing here.
Right, it's in the
That's a
fairway
runner.
anyway.
You've been playing.
Listen, that's
King's
straight down the
Farm.
middle.
260.
75, 6.
Spoony, you downplaying it.
I know it is. Do you know what the thing is?
Downplaying
You know
it.
these black people, innit? They're always hustling us.
It's not hustling.
They're always hustling us, Trey. Trey, you know what? Nowadays, these dark-skinned guys are fashionable now, innit? Again, back in the day, it was us, innit? We were the guys that was like the
ladies.
fashionable guys.
I was always fashionable, bro. When you could dance on DJ,
That's
you're
true,
the
exactly,
ting.
And now you can hit golf ball.
Yeah.
That was actually a really good drive.
All right, second shot.
Was it straight?
It was.
Yeah,
It was
That's
in. It
that's
was
all
in.
I'm concerned with.
277. Oh, you tried to hit that hard.
Yeah, I did.
didn't you?
Yeah.
You
And it
tried
came
to
out the
hit
toe.
that.
But because I had one in the
in there.
fairway, I thought, sweet, I'll go for it.
Where's that orange tee gone that you like?
And look,
you
and that's why I don't try and hit it hard.
That's
Didn't
what I
even
said
go-
there, like, technique, innit?
Just
Golf,
didn't
that's
go
the funny
further.
thing about golf, isn't it? It's just the technique. It's a technical game.
And it
It
didn't
don't
even
matter
go
how
further.
strong you are. Technique.
Shot 3. It's got 277 in the bang. That's a good effort, that is.
That is.
And that's the key to get the first one in play, right?
That sounded nice.
Nice.
That is nice. All right, all right.
Yeah,
this is
I
further.
like that. Is it?
This is further. This
No,
is
it's
further.
not. It's not. It's not. It's much shorter.
55. Steady though.
Too serious, all right? We take
Was
that.
it 277?
That was good though. Slotting in there, second guessed in, just under 317. Nedham got.
317.
Yeah, he got 317.
Wow!
Second shot.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Like I said, I'm a fairway man.
Thanks for coming on, bro.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Wicked. Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks very much.
Thanks
man.
for
I
having me.
appreciate
Good
it.
luck.
Thanks for coming on, bro. We'll have to play golf soon,
Yeah,
yeah?
absolutely. You playing at the Grove as well?
Yeah, I am.
Okay,
yeah.
wicked.
So we'll see you then.
So we get that.
Hopefully it's good conditions.
The Grove's normally really good, you know.
No, it's
It's
dry,
dry
but
there.
if it
Is it going to rain? What's the forecast?
It said a little bit of rain, so I was like thinking.
Even in the afternoon?
Yeah. Wrap up. Are you late as well? I'm 2 p.m.
What's the worst golf weather for you? Wind or rain?
Oh gosh. What's worse? Depends, because if it's warm, you don't mind a little rain. Wind is always hard though.
Wind's
Isn't
hard. That's what I'm
You
saying.
get first tee nerves?
it? Not really.
Nah, he does big
I
time.
can't take it.
Really.
He
can't
does
take
big
it.
time.
I don't know what it is either. I just try and say to myself as well, don't get nervous, don't get nervous. And then I walk to the tee, it could be like 2 people just standing there, I don't know.
So maybe you need
I
to
feel
not be
nervous.
thinking about.
I
You're
think you
saying
could learn
nervous.
some good mental things from
Yeah.
100%.
Spoony, couldn't you?
It's my
For,
elder,
for
man.
golf,
Of course
for
I-
golf though.
for
as well,
everything.
specifically. Everything to be fair. Yeah,
So
true.
maybe you stand on the tee, like when you're. So maybe the last 3 shots that you hit on the range should be with your driver or the club that you're going to take off the first
I
tee.
try and do that part.
Well, and then you'll think about the shot. So then when you stand down, you're not thinking about nervous, you're thinking about the shot. You're thinking about, I'm aiming at that tree, the left-hand side of that tree. That's what you'd be thinking. You won't be thinking of anything else.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you should be doing.
I'll be honest with you, see, Spoony, for someone, I'll just speak like you're not here, but he's someone I can learn of because I look at people and I say, people that have got more life experiences than me, I can learn from,
Yeah, for real.
right? And,
I'm always
and that's
getting
what I'm all
advice
about.
from you, man.
That's what I'm saying. Someone that, and it's not being disrespectful to other people, but someone that hasn't achieved somewhere near me or had my kind of life experiences, I'll listen.
Combination. Yeah.
But I tend to gravitate to people
Yeah.
that have done
Well, they
more and
say-
achieved more.
You know, they say a smart man learns from his mistakes. but a smarter man learns from someone else's.
That's big. Yeah.
I love that, bro. I love that. I'm gonna get through there, right?
But when you think about it, if I've gone and done something wrong, why do you need to come and do the same thing?
Yeah.
So what's the point? Yeah. I drove down that road and it's a dead end.
Yeah. Why are you doing it?
Do it again.
Why are you gonna go down that same road? It's like there's nothing down there for you. Do you know what I mean?
I love these because I learn shit all the time, man. Just speaking to people.
I'm trying to give him knowledge from my mistakes.
That's what you do.
I made a bag of mistakes too as well.
Yeah, listen, and I have. There's no doubt about it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, these, you know, I know what that. I mean, the thing that I really like first team knows, right? So when you go and play in like the big tournaments where they're announcing your name and all of that.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
Right. So the thing to always remember is that you're not a professional golfer.
It's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So in that moment, you're a footballer who plays golf. I'm a DJ who plays golf. I'm not a golfer because if you take those guys and put them to take a penalty in the night, what are they going to do? If I put them in front of 5,000 people behind decks, what are they going to do? The chances are we're in a better position than them. So just stand there and enjoy it and just go. What's the worst thing that can happen here?
It's true. Managing your expectation, isn't it?
Straight away.
Yeah. Like, realising where you are and what you're doing. Yeah.
Do you know what I always think in my mind now? I think what.
You care what people
the people would be thinking, Jay plays sport, he should be able to be good at this.
Don't work like that.
You're just worried about what other people
think.
Because
anyone who knows golf, understands golf, plays golf, knows what it's like to stand on that first tee and know that I don't think there's a golfer that's ever played that's not hit the ball out of bounds on the first tee somewhere.
Have you missed the ball on the first tee?
Never whiffed it. No. But at Stoke Park, the out of bounds used to be on the right by the driving range, right?
Yeah.
And they most probably, when you played it, they've moved it back a little bit. The first used to go from the clubhouse straight down into the path right. Out of bounds on the right. My bad shot was always a high cut, right? So that was like, it's happened.
That's the same as me.
Right. Now, once you've done that, you stand there and you go, I've done that before. Like, you don't get no, you know, it's...
Do you know what the funny thing is for me though? Because it's strange and it's stupid really, but because I was a professional footballer, for me, my standards in my mind are thereof a footballer's standards.
Yeah, but I'm
in a weird kind of way.
I'm a DJ.
I don't get it, but you're just competitive. You just think anything you lay your hands on, you think you're going to gravitate to that high performance level.
But golf is a little bit different in that way because the more you think you own it, it will remind you that you don't.
You know, I watched a documentary the other day. Have you seen it with J.R. Smith?
No.
Prime.
Yeah, and he was saying, I used to play golf, and I used to feel like, why am I not good at this? And then he started relating it to basketball, and he said I would shoot like 1,000 shots a day. And he said, for me to get better at golf, I've got to shoot 1,000 shots a day, and I can't until I can do that, or until I'm doing it.
Then you got
why
no
should
right.
I expect?
Then you got no right, bruv. And that's the thing. It's beautifully humbling golf, I find, because even when you hit a good, I nearly said when you have a good round, you then got to go and do it the next round. Yeah. But you could break it down all the way to a shot that you can hit your best drive, high draw or a controlled fade, 2-yard fade, right into the middle of the fairway, and then duff your next shot. It happens, right? And it happens because you then go, I've got this. And it just keeps you honest. For every single shot, you have to earn the right to go, that was a good shot. That's it. You have to do it, and you have to do it, and you have to go through that same thing. And when you don't hit the good shot, you have to accept I hit a bad shot
and recover,
and then go again. Because you then let that get into your head, mate. That's
life skills again, man.
That's life skills.
Get knocked down, come back.
There you go. You take that off the golf course, you put that into your life, and you just go. Right. I had to go to a school the other day, and my stepson's school and do a talk, and I was saying, you know, the thing in life, they'll say practice makes perfect and work hard and da-da-da. And I said, but let me tell you this, in real life, it doesn't always work out like that. That you'll do the right thing and you don't always get the right result. But that shouldn't stop you doing the right thing. But sometimes it just doesn't go your way. But that's the times when that's the times when I think, there's a fucking camera here, man's messing with me because they want you to go, and that's when you go, no, I was expecting you. I was expecting you to, you know what I mean? And then you like, I have it all the time and a lot of things happen and you go, boy, man's
Laugh
trying
it
to get
off.
me out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly,
mean?
yeah.
You have to. I see too many people, they just think, you get into, I've done the right thing and I worked hard. Just working hard that doesn't mean you're going to get it.
No,
you work hard to give yourself the chance to get it.
And then you have to go and do it.
Then you have to go and get it again,
true,
and
yeah.
keep doing it. And when you look,
Consistency.
when you look at all of the greats, it's because they kept doing it. They kept doing it.
Relentless.
They kept doing it. They kept doing it. They kept doing it. And that's it. There's no one that's great that didn't keep doing it. You know what I mean, the greatness is actually consistency.
That's what I always say, consistency. Like in football, we used to say like you can't just switch it on and switch it off. It doesn't happen. I mean, like Messi could and people like that. Even Messi.
That's the
If you speak to him, he would say no. But he's those kind of players of Messi, for example. You say turn it in the World Cup final,
they
he'll turn it on.
Yeah, it's like majors in golf.
Yeah, but like a lot of players, football players, most football players, you've got to be consistent at it. You've got to train consistently hard over a period of time and practice consistently. So when you put one in the top corner and you say, yeah, I was aiming for that. And like there's something, like Trossard's goal the other day?
Oh, yeah.
When he toe poked it in the top corner. He didn't try and do that. That was just lucky.
Yeah.
Right? But then you see other players that like Trent's free kick. He practices that.
Yeah.
That people expect that from him because he practices so much.
Yeah.
What free kick? But this is the
know
thing,
you're
it's like
looking
how many
cold.
hours and hours, and how many times did he hit the wall, and how many times did he blaze it over, and you go, don't stop him doing it. So he would go, what did you do differently to the last time? He'd go, boy, my preparation, I put the ball down the same place, I took the same amount of steps, and it didn't go in.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
And that's the thing where you do the right thing, you don't always get the right result, but
Yeah.
you've got to keep going again, and then boom.
And then it goes.
Do it.
And it goes, do you know what I mean? And what you find is that the best players get it right more often than not. That's why they're the best.
True.
All right, man.
I
Wicked,
really
no.
appreciate it.
No, I love it, man.
I
Thanks for
really
having me.
do, man.
Thanks
We're
for
gonna
having me.
we're gonna see each other tomorrow, but
Yeah.
I want to catch up more with you and play more.
No, we should play and have a